Alright, so this time I started out wanting to talk about the various and sundry purges, excisement, effacement, or what have you, that have gone out throughout the entirety of this thing, which is, well, my entire life. There's, definite eras where things were cut off and effaced and, sterilized, safe versions were put out to replace what had been and whatnot. And just last night, walking around, I noticed a sign that perhaps this is happening again. In the modern era, people are constantly redubbing their shit with everything and all that, and that's been going on forever now, really. But, it's always discouraging when you find stuff that you enjoy and then to see that it's being taken away and turned into something entirely contrary to what it was you enjoyed about it. And it sucks. And I've seen a lot of it. In my mind, it happened in three major phases. Okay, so there was the, I didn't really become aware of it as per the previous video until I was, in my later teens, which is, ironically enough, precisely when that guy decided all I wanted to screw was any woman associated with me, and pursued that line of whatever, what have you. And look how far it got him. Boy, he sure got paid well for fucking whatever chicks are into me. And boy, howdy. Anyway, but the point is that there's three major phases of effacement. And to efface is not to face something to look at it. It is to erase it. To efface history is to remove all record of it. So there was a period before 1992. I believe it was at the very end of May. Up until then, where the other guy and I, it's always bad now than me. I suppose I bad nailed it some. I don't know. I was really just trying to do my own thing, but mainly it was all hell bent on putting me down to, no end. And they were gleefully playing along. They liked it. And it was fun to, put Dave down, because fuck that guy. How is he supposed to have everything? He's not fair. And, I understand the resentment. I mean, doesn't seem fair. This guy hadn't done shit, and you're going to hand him millions of dollars and all these fine women, and what the fuck, Well, and here we are 30 years later, and I didn't get jack shit, but a really bad time out of it. And the worst treatment that pretty much the human race can throw at a person short of putting him in a camp, or, I've said... And not jokingly, in a lot of ways, it would have been kinder just to flat out kill me than to the shit that they put me through, like with the racist stuff, to be seen for everything you're not is a horror that I hope none of you ever have to experience, because it is utter hell. But in any event, okay, so there was that phase from the mid-'80s until 1992, the end of May, when the other guy got back. Now, I'd already gotten back several times, as has been discussed, but my times getting back didn't count. But his did, of course, conveniently. Anyway, I'm not going to argue about that. But at that point, the music that had been, and movies and whatnot, that had been a certain way, switched tunes a little bit. And it became something else. And then there was a while there where I still had ownership of myself enough that I, had my own things going in the various and sundry medias that carried all this shit. Until 95, 96, somewhere around there, about the time I moved to California, when I remember they had this big, PR campaign with the corporate radio at the time, the rock and roll revolution, which was the effacement of all of the stuff that was, well, I don't claim ownership of it, but was in reference to me in a not unkind way. That was all gone, and it was all nothing but Robbie's convergence therapy, gonna make Dave gay stuff, and a bunch of other hateful shit that was just, it was a horror. I enjoy music, and I just turned it off. I quit listening because it was all wrong. It was all horror, I just flat out stopped. So there's phase one before 92, and then there's 92 to 96 when it was sort of in flux, and then the 96, 97 onto the aughts when there's just sheer effacement. They erased everything and put it back to the bass stuff. I remember listening to a band that I used to like quite a lot. I mean, I still like the band, okay, but listening to the music, wanting to hear what I enjoyed about it before, it's all gone. I mean, it sounds the same, the lyrics are similar, but it's not the same thing. That stuff that was mine, for lack of a better term, although I don't claim ownership of it, it's gone. You know, it's nothing but the other guys. Period. The other guys, and that's all I heard about. And then, they got stock me into there. It's like, fuck that. I'm going off and live in the woods for a while, and get back my anonymity, which took a long goddamn time, but did in fact finally sort of happen. Which brings us to to this era, which for me, I moved to Florida, as has been discussed, to buy a sailboat and go sailing and whatnot. That at that time they cranked up the machine again and made like they were going to make good with me, and I don't doubt that some of them are quite sincere in that. In any event, at that time, things changed, and they started putting my shit back in stuff again. And at the same time, giving the other guy ownership of my person to a greater or equal portion that I owned myself. Apparently that was their contract, is that he gets to be co-owner of me in greater part than I own myself, which of course I never consented to and never will, but that's the way it was. So I was going to make a point here. There's a whole deal about, effacing the collective memory, and, that whole thing about the main, and the favorite and all that kind of stuff. It's all predicated upon the idea of, the sort of the collective conscious or the collective memory, the resonance of what we remember. So to remove the record of the things we remember and go to look at the new one, it's like watching the re-edited Star Wars when you saw the original in the theater. You're like, what the fuck is this? This isn't what I... And to me, that's like everything in the media from the late 90s onward. I just pretty much wrote it off. I mean, sure, I'd watch an odd movie and whatnot and, kind of glower a bit when they were being nasty to me, which is just the norm forever. And I get some nice stuff too, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, but that was, low enough key that I still managed to have some blissful anonymity for years. And when it restarted back up in 2018, I remember there was this woman who came around that I eventually went chasing after to Paris and whatnot. And anyway, came around and I desperately wanted to get together with her, to talk with her, to meet her and all that. And she showed up a couple times, and then the other guys sent doppelgangers, women who looked quite similar, but through a glass window on the highway. Anyway, I'm out there, trying to make this thing happen, hoping that it's her, but it's actually, the other guy fucking with me by sending some chick who looks a lot like her. So I'm, chasing them down, and of course, the loaner car from the dealer is a piece of shit, and I, won't do over 125, and I lose her on the highway or whatever. And, I'm bummed out, and had to stop at the grocery store, pick some stuff up on the way back after that, and stop in to go to the grocery store, and just buying stuff, and going to the checkout line, and it was striking because it was the first time in my entire life when people looked at me and acknowledged that they were aware of who I was and were kind and were like, it's okay, man, you'll get her, hang in there. And I've never experienced that before or since. And it's weird that, strangely enough, it hurt to realize how much of that I had taken away from me, you know? Like, I'm fine being nobody. I enjoyed my anonymity, such as it was for those, you know, years when I was no one, and that was fine. But then to bring it back and to people to actually treat me like an actual ordinary human being was it was a revelation. It was like, holy shit, they can be kind. It never even occurred to me that they could be kind, because they've never been kind. They've only been hostile, really. I mean, you know, they this or that on the media, you know, whatnot, but the overall booming machinery of the radios and the background noise on the TV and Fox News and all that shit, you know, it's all astoundingly negative, you know. And to see the average Joe, anybody, folks out in the public grocery store being supportive or treating me like an ordinary human being was revelation. I didn't know. I was unaware that they could do that. And I think to me that just like illuminates just how fucked up this whole thing is, that I've been so completely othered by this whole process that I'm a known part of what society is, but entirely excluded from it, yet nonetheless the subject of all kinds of crap about it. It sucks ass, you know. But in any event, that very quickly changed into a much more hostile mode, as per we're all used to now. It gets back to the whole purging and whatnot, you know, and the effacement of my stuff, or the stuff that related to me in any accurate way or whatever. And just the other night realizing that, oh, they're about to do that again, I guess. Which maybe they are, maybe they aren't, maybe I misinterpreted it, I don't know. But it's just really sad, because it's like taking the collective memory of the world and choosing to rework it in a way that serves a very certain set of people, certain set of people's agendas, who have done enormous damage to society through the othering and through the teaching of socializing your kids in society that to be somebody in this world, you buck somebody else over, and that's how you get your big reward. You know, the lottery Babylon model of you don't win unless the other guy loses, you know, which is how the other guy and they chose to play it. And you know, that's a shitty thing, but it is what it is. That's what they do. That's what they have done. It's just sad that they chose to be so cold and mean. Really, I guess I just don't ever understand why you choose hatred and hostility. It's never made any sense to me, and I don't think it ever will. But getting back to the point of the purges and all that stuff, and as per the previous video, I touched upon the legalities, or lack thereof, in case of this all the crazy shit, and part of the purging, you know, of the erasure or effacement of stuff pertaining to me, very neatly ties into the legal side of it. It says, oh, there's nothing there. See, that didn't exist. Those records were destroyed. We don't know what you're talking about. This is what was going on then. You know, it's like, okay, can you know, they know they're in the wrong, and then we're going to make damn sure I don't have any means to, you know, address it. I'll just gonna have to take what they offer, right? And but it's still not gonna happen, because you spent too long desocializing me too hard for me to be able to be social anymore. You know, I mean, in a meaningful sense. You know, I'm a nice guy, you know, friendly to people, but everyone thinks God only knows what all about me anymore. You know. If these people think a fraction of what the evil shit and false shit that has been said about me is true, then I completely understand why they wouldn't want to have anything to do with that person that they made up to make me look bad. And on a certain level, I'm okay with it. When I fled the hate and the lies in California in '96, I became okay with being alone. I learned to be alone. I'm good at it, I'm all right being alone. It'd be nice to have, social life in, ordinary human sense, but I've spent so many decades now being othered and removed from society that I don't expect it, and I'm bad at it. I don't know how to deal with it, because it's not what I know. They spent all this energy making damn sure that I knew that they hated my fucking guts. Okay, I'll stay away, and then they come back. I know. But it is very neatly tying into the legal thing and how they're going to cover their ass and whatnot. And when I'm dead and gone or whatever, it'll be curious, to see how they choose to play it. Just flatter to face it and pretend it didn't happen. Makes sense. I don't know. I guess I won't be here to see that, so who the hell knows. The whole thing with the grocery store and the one time when people were like decent and nice to me, and how astounded it was really an eye-opener for me to just how deeply and thoroughly desocialized I had become and have become. And it's weird, that they would take $1 trillion machine and use it just to fuck a guy over. I guess they get to take all my shit and make a shit ton of money on it, and then, later on erase it and pretend like it didn't happen. I'm just a resource to be exploited and violated like anything else, Just another forest to be cut down, I don't know. This did not turn out as clear and concise as I had hoped it would. As is often the case, I'm doing the best I can with what I got to work with, and I'm just one person. And the likelihood of anybody seeing this stuff is, I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, love y'all. Peace.